Welcome to Koala Gardens. I'm Katrina and this video is brought to you by my alpha producers, Jeff Anderson, Rich in Alaska, and Lynn. I'm so grateful for your continued support. I thought it'd be a little bit of fun today to have a look back at the first year of Woody being here at Koala Gardens. All of my video on YouTube is always free, but if you would like to help me, you can join the ever-growing Patreon family, become an In the Loop adopter. There are loads of amazing perks that you can get with lots of exclusive news well before anybody else hears things. And I want to acknowledge the Widjabul Waiable people of the Bundjalung Nation, on whose land I'm so proud to live, work and play. Woody's been here for nearly a year. It's actually not quite a full year, but what the heck. I really thought it would be just nice to have a bit of a look at the history of him. He first came onto the property on the 31st of August in 2024, and here he is on that very first day that I ever saw him, and he is in Bullet's favourite tree just outside the kitchen window. So it was a pretty good place to see him. I've never seen him there again, which is even more interesting. One of the really important ways that you can support the work that I'm doing here is to make sure you always smash that like button, and please do leave a comment, share the video out and subscribe. The YouTube algorithm loves activity on videos. If you can't do something like get behind me through Patreon, you can at any time leave a super thanks using the heart button below with the dollar in it, or as little as $2. Every little bit helps. In September, I only saw Woody once and then didn't see much more of him, but in January, he was back showing a lot more of himself. One of the things too with the koalas is it can be really hard to get good, clear video of them because they're high up in the trees with leaves all around them. Sometimes I'm lucky, but even when you look at this, it's good when the wind blows, that branch in front of him gets out the way a bit, and when it doesn't blow so well, it's right over his face. It's rather rude, isn't it, really? I think one of the times that we all probably remember one of the most clearly was the day Woody lay on this branch to eat the tops out of a tallowood tree underneath the big pink bloodwood that he's in. And there is a video that I put out about it where I show that Jordan did exactly the same thing in the same tree some years previously. Really quite fascinating watching koala behaviour over a long period of time. And now we move into February and I'm starting to see more and more of Woody, and it's become obvious that he has moved into the property. Now you might think, oh hang on, how can you have a big male like Woody on the property when you've got a big male like Valentine on the property? And that's a really good question. I've done videos where I talk about alpha male behaviour, and one of the really interesting things is that each male that is an alpha type male, and I believe Woody is, they will have their own home range. Now, they don't make these home ranges up by looking at a map that shows what human owns a property and where their fences are. They make their own home range, and it's very interesting watching that Woody is never in the areas that Valentine uses, and Valentine no longer comes down into this area where Woody is. So it allows two big males to live on the property without it being an issue, because they're both in charge of different parts of the property. And you might have noticed that there's another male that I'm often seeing on the property named Zeus, and guess what? He's using a different part of the property again. So the property at the moment has pretty much been divided into 3. Now we move into March, and if you watched my recent video where we watched Elmo grow up, we could see month after month Elmo changing and getting bigger and bigger. But we're really not seeing any change in Woody because he was already fully mature. I absolutely loved this day when I came along and found him in a young tree. Now, what he's sitting on there is actually the trunk of the tree. It should be upright, but because of his weight, this tree is bending over in order to support him. And he had a good feed out of this tree. It's one of the young forest red gums that self-sowed on the property. So this is real local Tuckarimba absolute koala food. A lot of the time Woody is in some of the pink bloodwoods or even in some of the other this tree I think is one of the secondary trees. It's in area 5 of the property, and Woody mostly uses areas 6, 5 and 12. Now we move into April, and just look at the size of that big round body of Woody. I would guess that Woody probably weighs around the 7 to 7.5 kilo, which is not huge, but is a good big size for a male in this area. And he's got such a blokey look to him, doesn't he? That broad forehead, flatter face with the Roman nose, and ears that are not cute and fluffy like Enya's, but of course they are a little bit fluffy because he is a koala, and he's quite a dark furred koala, which is quite common here in the Tuckarimba area. That's a pink bloodwood tree that he's in now, and as I pull back you can see that it's quite a large tree. This tree is a forest red gum, and you can see that it's got that ghosty pale grey bark to it. And it's interesting because when you look at one of the paler grey furred koalas, they blend right into those trees. And just look at that branch that he's sitting on. It's quite a funny shape, isn't it? The way it goes up a little bit and then curves and just drops off. Makes a pretty perfect koala seat, if you ask Woody. So it looks like Woody has made his home here. I really can't explain why he changed his home range. There can be so many pressures on the environment out there that can influence even an adult koala having to change their home range, but I'm certainly glad that he's here. And guess what? You have just made it to the end of yet another Koala Gardens video. So would you take a moment to write in the comments below as you smash that like button, Woody in the woods. Thanks for watching. Lots more great video coming your way soon. Another way that you can support what I'm doing is anytime you're looking for something, a coffee cup, a hat, a tote bag, a pair of socks, whatever it is, just hop over and check out my Redbubble store to see if there's not something there that perfectly meets your needs.